Patterson. We are at the 13th annual St. Louis Prototype Modelers Meet. I'm doing an outdoor photo shoot. We're going to talk about this table saw. That's absolutely magnificent. This is the best hobby in the world.
What's neat?
What's neat?
What's neat?
What's neat starts now.
Catch the What's Neat podcast every week and full episodes of What's Neat every month at the Model Railroad Hobbyist YouTube page.
It's been a while.
I know, right? Best hobby in the world. With some of the best people in it, like sitting right next to me right here. Hey, Gary.
You're too kind.
Oh, we love you. I'm glad you're here tonight.
Glad
We've
to be
known
here.
each other a long
We have. We have.
All right, we are shooting show number 302 tonight. Let's have some fun. Let's pretend like we've done this before. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1.
The What's Neat This Week in Model Railroading Show is made possible by viewers like you and is proudly supported by Model Railroader Magazine, helping enthusiasts become better modelers for more than 90 years. To learn more, visit trains.com. Additional support is provided by Spring Creek Model Trains, your destination for model trains. Stop in and say, wow. Check out their website at springcreekmodeltrains.com.
Intermountain Railway Company, where the detail makes the difference. Check out their website at intermountain-railway.com. Additional support is provided by Yelsma Graphics, America's leading distributor of quality railroad art and embroidered clothing since 1985. Check out their website at yelsma.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week show in model railroading, show number 302 for January 18th. 2025. I'm your host, Ken Patterson, the host of that What's Neat show over at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine. And the January show, I got a phone call. It just came out a couple days ago. And in that show, I believe that we talked about a lot of upcoming scenery products that are going to happen on this layout. We also went over the longest train that we've ever run on this layout, testing out those wonderful Broadway Limited SD70 ACE locomotives that weigh in just under 2 pounds apiece. Die-cast, amazing models. So with that said, let's go around the table. Tonight we've got on the set Jeff Meyer. Hey, Jeff.
Hey.
It's really good to have you tonight, and you brought some neat models to look at.
Yep.
And you've got your little munchkins back there. Hey, guys. Howdy. It's awesome to have you here tonight. Sitting on the other side of me, I've got the very respected master modeler. What other words could I use? Gary Hoover. Hey, Gary.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
It is awesome to have you here tonight. I'm going to help you with that microphone real quick because I want to hear your charming voice, right? And sitting right next to Gary Hoover, we've got our favorite Steve Mantia.
Hello.
Hey, Steve.
Everyone. Hi.
It's good to have you tonight, and
glad to
you've
be here.
brought time with you tonight.
Yes, I brought us all. We always needed a little bit more time, and I'm glad we've got it now.
Yes.
So
That's awesome. All right, so Gary Hoover is respected and known in our hobby in that you have been writing for the model press since the late 70s, as far as I've seen your work, all through the mid-80s and the 90s and the 2000s. I mean, you are truly a craftsman. You've been through a lot of different layouts. You've been heavily involved with the NMRA, helping to do your part to support this, the best hobby in the world, with your artistry. And every time, and this happened last night, every single time I meet with you or go to your house, I learn something, which happened to me last night because I had the wonderful privilege to see your work of art.
thank you.
So Gary, where do we start?
Boy. Well, this is layout number 6 that you saw last night.
Okay.
Number 6. So after 6 layouts, I should be getting something right. It's a lot of practice.
The first layout I saw you was the Missouri, Kansas, and Quincy
That's right.
Railroad.
Right.
And this is probably going back to a layout that you built in the early 80s.
Yeah, that was the first layout. The MKQ is the first layout that we built here in St. Louis. And so I started that in 85 when we moved here. And that went till about 93, 94, something like that.
Right, and they're seeing pictures of it while you're
Yeah.
talking about it. I remember the lighthouse. And some
Lighthouse
of the other
scene.
scenes you had started creating this Western scene with all of these monolithic-looking cliffs in the
Yeah.
background.
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually made with pieces of wood that I found next to the railroad tracks. And I took a plaster rubber latex mold and then filled the molds with plaster, and that's what I kind of made those spire rocks from.
That came out really good. That was a neat
That was
scene.
kind of a Utah setting scene.
You've been in the model press for years and years, and I might get on the internet and look around, but if you go through your previous issues of Model Railroader magazine, and Gary was dedicated to Kalmbach and all of the folks that he knew over the years, and the fact that he didn't write for any other magazines. I really respect that, and a lot of the magazines also like it to keep it that way. But if you go through some of the past issues of Model Railroader magazine, what Gary did was amazing. I'm going to talk about this. I don't know what I've got to show, but I'll look through my issues. Winston Link, a very famous photographer that shot a lot of black and whites of the N&W Railroad and probably other railroads, but he always used flashes and lit up. It was nighttime-oriented photography. And you recreated a lot of his works in HO scale. And that work that ran through the magazines was just breathtaking.
That was a lot of fun. Winston Link, I mean, when you think about it, back in the mid-50s, of course, he was a professional photographer, but he did all of this at night. He had the cooperation of the N&W, which was important, but still he had to photograph a black locomotive running in the middle of the night with flash.
Right.
And it had to be done right the first time because there was no second take on it. And it was amazing. And of course, his composition and exposures and everything, it was just, it's fantastic.
I mean,
photography.
he didn't get to move the model forwards and
No,
backwards and
no.
just do what we get to do. But
No,
I mean, it was live.
It's amazing. So I kind of wanted to recreate some of those photographs if I could in HO scale. And I still think, even on the layout that I've got today, the night photography is probably one of the most interesting things that I do down there from a photography standpoint is night photography.
Okay, let's talk about that layout. Last night I was able to see it for the first time. Thank you for that privilege. And like Mike Confalone, Gary has chosen on this layout for the entire layout to be modeled as wintertime. And it's not heavy snow, it's light snow, which is really neat because that still allows the details of everything to be seen. Mm-hmm. But talk to us about this beautiful work of art as we show some of the video clips.
So the present layout, number 6, I was able to basically start this layout from scratch because we moved in 2021 from the northern part of St. Louis, northwestern St. Louis, down to southwestern St. Louis. So a new house, new basement, brought a lot of the buildings, rolling stock, locomotives with me, and that was all Norfolk and Western also.
Right.
And so I was able to basically start from scratch, design the railroad to fit the area in the basement that I had. And so this railroad is, a freelance prototype. So it's not like the previous N&W that I had up in Florissant, which was strictly prototype. This was freelance prototype, and I've really enjoyed that because freelance prototype gives me the opportunity to kind of use your own expression on stuff. You still have the N&W as the prototype, but your hands aren't tied to making a scene exactly like the prototype was, because that takes a lot of space.
Yes.
And that's something I didn't have in this house because we moved because we wanted to downsize. Mm-hmm. And so by going to the freelance end of it, you could make a town the way you wanted to make the town. And if you wanted to put a building in there, you put it in, you have to worry about somebody saying, well, that was never there on the real N&W. Well, yeah, you're right, because this is a freelance prototype. And that's worked out really well. I've really enjoyed that.
The word prototype, though, I mean, just the buildings that you've built, the wood craftsman structures, the board-by-board construction, not only is it an expose of your time, but your artistry, your attention to detail, the thoroughness of your modeling. It's just so much to absorb, but it's so good that when you walk away, I mean, you've given a guy, he's going to be thinking about you in his sleep. I mean, seriously, for days, there's going to be things that he's going to learn from what he saw and then want to do that to his work.
Well, it's, it's been fun. This layout's really been fun. And by doing the structures that kind of match the N&W, doing the scenery that matches West Virginia, that gives everybody the feeling that, yeah, you're actually in West Virginia, and yeah, it's really the fall and a little bit of snow here and there. And I think that's what gives you the flavor of it. Because,
Right.
a lot of people who have never been on a particular prototype railroad, they may not know that a certain building was there at a certain period of time. It's probably gone today. So the freelance end of it, you can really, kind of expand out and do what really fits the space that you've got.
I want to bring Jeff in on this too, because Jeff saw some of the video clips of your layout, but your backdrops are just subliminally perfect. The color you chose for the sky and the subtle.
The signaling,
Oh,
the
the
signaling you
signals.
had in, the lighting that he lit up every single building. I mean, that's pretty cool. Like I said, a lot of LEDs.
A lot of
all the
LEDs.
time.
A lot of LEDs, a lot
And
of
in
super
fact,
trees.
you've got some GRS lighting systems on there too.
Yeah.
Those bulbs are still lasting you.
Yeah, that was Muldoon's Distillery, which I made up in Florissant. But that particular structure, the LED bulbs are pretty well buried in there.
Right.
And to try to get those out, I was afraid I was going to really mess up the structure. So that's one of the few places I still have tungsten type bulbs as opposed to the LEDs.
Right. What did you think about the fact that he modeled winter?
I like it. I mean, it's something different. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, Mike Confalone, he pulled it off. Yeah. I mean, it's dreary, but still, it's something different. It's not, everyone models the medium green, bright green, summertime. So yeah, it's neat to see something different, definitely.
Dreary, but the Christmas tree and all the animation, and in fact, a lot, if not all of your buildings have got full interiors in them.
Yeah.
So there's life, there's happy life going on in the dark, dreary. You nailed it. That's what winter is. It's all warm and happy in here, and go outside and
Freeze yourself off. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, not so much.
It's
You
good
nailed
to
it.
be inside with it.
And you've also got the Broadway Limited Thunderstorm on there. He's got that lighting effect, which
Yep.
is kind of neat.
Yep. Thundersnow.
And another thing that was so impressive was a scratch built. If I haven't shown video of this, look at this turntable. Look at this roundhouse, all scratch built.
Yeah, the roundhouse, I actually had to build that roundhouse. I don't know if you noticed or not, but it's in two segments.
Okay.
It was too big to get in and out of the basement conveniently, so it's actually in two segments that then plug together in the middle.
Right,
And the roof of that is 1/8" masonite.
right.
So it's, that was quite a project to do that.
I like it that it's self-standing in its own spot, because turntables take up so much space when you work them into a layout, and that would take up your whole town. You've got it off to the side, so it's an operational, self-contained diorama, which is actually brilliant. Another thing, God, everything you do is brilliant. The lift-out sections don't lift out, they hinge.
They hinge.
They drop down, fold up, and you've got like 4 of them, and you've got guardrails on them. They are bulletproof.
Yeah, they work. I've had those several times now on the various layouts, and they work fine. They really do. You get a little bit of expansion and contraction,
Right.
summertime, wintertime, but you can normally take care of that with maybe, if nothing else, a small slip track that you put in. And I haven't had any problem with those at all. They work great.
Wow.
you had said it's had 6 different layouts.
Mm-hmm.
Have all of them because you've moved, or why 6 of them? Or do you get done with one and then decide?
That's pretty much it.
Okay, it's the same way that
Yeah.
my dad, when he did layout, you never got finished, or because when you were finished it, then there was nothing more to do. So just reason was why 6 of them.
Well, I had 2 in Wichita before,
Okay.
because we lived in Wichita at first for the first 8.5 years after I got out of college, and 2 there, and then 4 here. But the 4 here, except for the very last one when we moved, the other 3 that we had here in St. Louis, that's just because I got one done, and it's like, well, let's do something else, you know. And it's after the Missouri, Kansas, and Quincy, I did the Santa Fe. Then after the Santa Fe, I did the first Norfolk and Western, and then we moved, and then comes along this second one.
That was a really good question, though.
Well, I just was curious of why.
Yeah.
It seems like
What's going
every
on?
7 years,
Uh,
I get seriously bored with something and tear it down.
Yeah,
Every 7 years.
yeah, yeah.
It's called the 7-year
7-year itch.
itch.
But then again, like any artwork,
Yeah.
you make it one way, and you look back and go, okay, maybe I want to do something else with
something
it
a little
that way, a
different.
little different, and it's always changing, and that's why I like the idea of the freelance prototype. That it's you make it what you want.
What
That's
you
why,
want.
No, whether it's
Yeah.
Lionel or N scale, whatever you're at. It's your vision is what
Right.
you want it to be in that. And I know a few people know specifically where buildings are or location, but most of it, a beautiful layout, like looking at the pictures that you have, it's just, it's perfect for
Yeah,
where it is.
It,
and
it
that.
works
So
well.
It works
that way.
very well.
And when you
yes.
have a limited amount of space, it's even more important because to try to do a prototype scene, well, like for example, on the Santa Fe layout, I did Cajon Pass. Well, just that scene up over Cajon Pass, and there's not that much at Summit. At the top, they've got the station and a couple maintenance way buildings there. And then the drop track, the incline drop track, that's it. But to do that took probably about 15 feet of linear space to pull all that off and to make it look like Cajon Pass. So, you know, in this layout, I just didn't have that much space. I
Right.
had to squeeze things
Yes,
down and
work with what you have.
work
Yeah,
with what
that's
you
it.
have. That's all you can do. Yep.
So
Very
you starting
nice.
number 7 soon?
No. I think this is probably it. Yeah. You
It's
know,
finished. It's beautiful. I mean, really. Other than changing the seasons.
Okay.
But he can't do that now either.
That's tough.
Yes.
Yeah, that's tough. But you
Yes.
can vacuum up the snow.
There
You
you
know,
go.
the snow is. I put the snow down and then I just lightly dust it with hairspray.
Okay.
So it's not down to where it's like glued down with white glue. It's
That's
just
a good
hairspray.
idea.
And that holds it in place. But if you ever do want to vacuum it up, if it gets dirty or something gets spilled on it, you can just hit it with the vacuum cleaner. It just pulls it right up.
Hey, is the train still running, Richard? Is it?
Yeah, here it comes.
Because I know we're going to talk about that when it comes up. Steve Mantia, what did you bring tonight?
Okay, well, first off, it was at the Museum of Transport. They had their train show today. And, you know, like any train show, you're always looking for something unusual. So I was able to, it's not a original one, but it's a nice little clock.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I think it was
Nice.
I took a picture of it. I sent it to Glenda whether or not I should buy it or not. So I had already bought it, and she said it was okay. So I think it turned out very nice.
Wow.
And then I picked up these cars that I figured I would get a little more. They're not really HON3, are they?
No, this is
Isn't it?
HO scale, turn
HO
of the
scale.
century. So this would be like what a 440, the Bachmann 440 would pull. This is just what George Bogatuk is modeling.
There was a container of stuff
Right.
that somebody was selling, and I picked it up because it's like everything. It's something neat. You can never have too much stuff. So,
No, it's era correct for the turn of the century. It's really actually neat.
well, I figured you would give me a little more information about it, but
No, good job. And Jeff Meyer brought a freight car tonight. What have you been working on, Jeff? It's good to have you here
It's been a
tonight.
while. Thanks. It's been a while. It's been a while. Well, I don't get to do quite as much modeling as I'd like to anymore, but I finished this car a while back. It's a Atlas FMC double door. It was painted for East St. Louis Junction, during the IPD, incentive per diem boom in the late 70s and stuff. This specific car, it's modeled to a prototype. I like talking earlier, that takes a lot of time, effort, concentration to really model a specific locomotive, freight car, whatever. But so Mike Buddy actually photographed this. When he gave me some of his photos to scan, he shot this car. Wow. And there's a few other photos on the internet, but so I knew I wanted to model it. The problem was it's patched for Seaboard system. Like they acquired them in 83, 84, I think. So, but none of the font you could find out there that was available, it wasn't matching. So I talked to my buddy, Alex Holmes, also goes by Tiggy Time, that's what he goes by. But anyways, he got into making decals. A lot of these guys started making, but some of these guys are really talented. And they get down to it. So he actually recently started a small decal company called Chicago Link Decals, CLD. They're on, he's got a Facebook site and a website. Doesn't have a ton of product yet, but he's making some. So he drew them up for me, bought the car, stripped the East St. Louis reporting marks, and then patched it for Seaboard system and weathered it to the photograph and all that. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, some of these guys, there's a group of these guys. I don't have the skill yet, so I have to, outsource it to my buddy Alex. He's up in Minneapolis. But some of these guys, Brian Bennett, Nick Odell, they do a lot of artwork. They do decals, but they also behind the scenes are correcting stuff for manufacturers.
Okay.
When they announce stuff and the artwork isn't correct.
Okay.
And they have enough context now. Well, they'll talk to them and say, hey man,
Yeah.
this release isn't really right. Let me help you out here. So it's good. You got all these people behind the scenes, probably a lot of nameless people, but they do all this work. A lot of time. It's a lot of time and effort. They spend a lot of their free time fixing artwork for a lot of these major manufacturers. So hats off to the guys like that to do that behind the scenes.
That's
Don't
cool.
get a lot of credit for it. So, and thank you, Alex, for doing this decal set for me.
We've got a train running tonight on the layout, and if I'm correct in my research on this one, I put a 1987 through late 80s train is what this is.
Yeah.
When the Santa Fe Kodachromes were running, and all the cars are appropriate for the dates. These are some freight cars that haven't been run down here in 10 years. But it's really neat to be able to pull out stuff for a certain era photo shoot when you've got a job, and essentially that's what's happening here tonight for this run by. It's a certain era train that you've seen. Also, it's got the brand new What's Neat boxcars in it. What's Neat Transportation, I love all of them. The dark blue car, the boxcar, red car, What's Neat Transportation, and the light blue car, which is actually one of my favorites in outdoor sunlight. It looks dynamite, but the best-selling car is the one with the arch on it and the big What's Neat logo. So I look forward to everybody sending maybe photographs of these cars on your layout. I've got one gentleman that sent me a photograph on Facebook that I should have put on the show tonight, but I'll run it on the next show that we do. We're not doing a show next week. It is our weekend off, although we might have something, sometimes we do a 0.5 show. That just might happen, I'm not sure, because there's a lot of days there where a lot of new information is coming out. Denny Yelsman said to be sure to talk about Amherst, that he is giving away swag, otherwise known as What's Neat hats. If you walk up to Denny and tell him you've seen What's Neat or seen him on the show, thank you very much, Yelsma Graphics, for helping us support this, the best hobby in the world, with everything you've done for us through the years. The jackets that I've got, we've been getting great use out of the winter clothing here in the last few weeks. Just absolutely wonderful, so check it out. Also, Denny wanted me to show one image tonight. I've got it on my tablet, but I also have it memorized. And this is he does custom work. He does corporate work, different logos. And there's one gentleman that had his Jeep completely fully restored. I mean, you know how expensive that can be. So it's his baby, and he wanted this on a jacket. And so this is the image that Denny sent us, illustrating the fact that he can make any type of image in the world and make it happen for your clothing and your garment on the Port Authority clothing that he sells at his website at yelsmagraphics.com. And so with that, gentlemen, anything else going on around the table tonight? Gary, thank you for being here. Anything you want to say in closing?
Really enjoyed it. And we have the narrow gauge meet coming up in September. The layout's going to be open for that on tour. I'm going to give a clinic over there at that. Matter of fact, I'm giving a clinic over there called Works for Me. So it's not going to be a clinic on Norfolk and Western, which probably won't be of a whole lot of interest to the narrow gauge folks. But it's just a kind of potpourri of little things, techniques, tools, materials that I've found over the too many years I've been in this hobby that work.
Right.
And so I'm going to give that. Hopefully everybody will enjoy that.
You're more than welcome to be here any time you want. Drop one of your buildings or one of your favorite models on the table.
Okay.
Talk about it. Tell us how you got there. And
Thank you.
just share this, the best hobby in the world, because you've got a wealth of knowledge. And the youth out there are all ears.
Yeah.
We've got them. We found them here on this internet thing.
Yep.
You know, this internet
That's
thing.
perfect. That's perfect.
Right? We found them.
That's what we need is young blood, for sure.
I know, right?
Yes.
All right, so with that said, I know we're already running a train, but I always like to say this at the end of the show. We're going to take our NCE hammerhead throttle system right here. 2 radios in the ceiling, a great system, bulletproof. When you push the buttons on this, it asks you what do you want to do before you do it right there on the screen, so you can't make any mistakes. It's designed so well it doesn't need to be changed. It works. NCE, the power of DCC. And this is what we're going to use to go run some trains. All right? Okay, we need a thumbnail. So what that means is we all smile,
Oh.
look cute. And on this thumbnail, I'm going to have the words Gary Hoover, great big,
Oh.
right?
Wow.
All right. I know. Ready, set,
My-
look
my
at
head's getting
camera.
bigger by
I
the
know,
minute
man.
now.
Look at camera 1 and smile. Yes, the head big thing goes away after you see the zeros that you get paid.
You should get the kids running a train. A short video
Yeah,
clip.
let the boys run a train tonight. Have some fun, guys. The layout's all yours. Don't break anything. Let camera run for 45 seconds for credits. Good job, Gary.
Good. Thank you.
Oh my God, what an honor to have you here. We don't hang out enough because we're so tied
So
up.
busy doing
Well, you
other
spend
stuff.
all that time building the layout.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You can see where my time goes.
Yep. Yep, that's obvious.
But it's so much fun promoting this hobby. It's just such a joy.
So this is the NC cap. I've never even used one.
Oh my God, try it out. Actually, you know what? This one's cool too. And it works with your cell phone, your JMRI. The little throttle, the big throttle. It's that DCC thing.
Yeah.
I know, right?